Hello to this tutorial. So in the inventory, you're adding new items in data tables. For that, go here to the item data tables folder, and then you can see here all items overview. If you open this, then you can see here an overview of all items that are currently included in the inventory. But you can also see that this data table looks different from a normal data table. And that is because this is a composite data table. So what is a composite data table? That is basically a collection of all rows of each of these sub-data tables. So let's say here are 5 rows in the armor data table added and 6 rows in the weapons data table added and so on. And it will take these rows and puts them together here in this big all items overview composite data table. So you can also see that you're not able to add inside of this composite data table new items. You would do that inside of these sub data tables that you have added here. So let's say you want to add a new armor item, then you're going here to the categorized item tables and opening armor. And here could then add a new item, a new row. And if you do that, this will automatically be added here, show up here in this all items overview. So I'll make an example of a new category. What you can also see here in these categorized data tables, they are all based on the same structure, and that is s_item data. So I'll make an example and add here a new data table. Go here to miscellaneous and then to data table. Here you need to select search for item data. Select here s_item data. Click OK. I will call it dt_special stuff. So you're not limited to these data tables that are already here, and you can also rename them as you want. That should just help you organizing in a way or in categories that are improving your workflow of adding new items or handling big amount of items. So as an example here with the special stuff data table, we're opening this. I will just add here a new row. Not doing anything about that here for now. And now going back to the composite data table. And here I will add a new element to the parent tables. And we'll select here now special stuff, this data table. And you can see here, it will add the single item new row we added here to the special stuff. It will add it here to this overview composite data table. You can add here, for example, a new item to special stuff. Then you see here, we have these two. Or we could add a new row to resources, and then it will also add it here. So I will delete the last row again. And also one important thing you need to consider or need to have in mind if you're adding new items, the row name, which is basically the ID in the end of an item. So you could change here the row name, for example, my item. If you're looking then here in the composite data table, see here my item. So that is at the same time the row name and at the same time the ID of the item. So that means it really needs to be identical. If you're trying here in this special stuff data table to add a new item with the row name my item, it will warn you that this row is already existing and it doesn't work. But if you would go, for example, now to resources and add here a new row and rename that to my item, Then you will see here you have my item. Currently you have it twice. You have it in resources and in special stuff. It's only listed once here, but like you will run in problems because it can only take one here. But if you play now, you also see here a warning that this row is duplicate. So what I want to say is make sure that this row name is really identical. So deleting this here now from the resources again. And now I'll show you how to set up this item here by adjusting these values. To start, I want to say that you can hover most of the variables to get some tooltip info. And as an example here for the ID, that says that you should not edit the ID here inside of the data table. That has the reason, once we are playing, it will automatically grab the row name for that and applies it here as the ID, but nothing you have to do here. So it doesn't have an influence changing it here. So just leave it as it is. Same for the amount, just leave it on 0, because when we're playing, then this is dynamically changing and you can leave it on 0. So, but what has an influence is the name, and there we'll choose tutorial hat, because I made this wonderful hat mesh here in 10 seconds. And yeah, let's try to set this up. So tutorial hat. Then let's expand this additional general data here. Then we get a bunch of adjustment. I won't explain everything here, but yeah, let's go quickly through that. So I won't make it stackable. Max stack size doesn't matter then. As a description, I'll take wonderful hat. The category there, I will choose accessories. For the icon, I don't have an icon yet for the mesh, so choose something like that here. Icon scale, it's like the UI scale. We can make that smaller. The static mesh, there I have here the tutorial hat static mesh. Instead of the static mesh, you can also take a skeleton mesh or even an actor. Let here continue with the drop item mesh. That's basically the mesh in the item actor when we're dropping this on the floor. And here, since I only selected here static mesh, I'm also leaving this on static mesh. If we have an actor here, we can choose the actor here. Then the drop item transform. To explain you that, or to show you that, I would suggest that could now try to drop this item here actually on floor, to test adding this to inventory and dropping that on the floor, and then continue adjusting these values here. So for that, go to maybe the player controller, and here I will adding a new keyboard key for testing here, taking for example U, and then we need here the inventory ref. There's a global function that you can use everywhere. This get inventory ref. And for that, from here we can type add item. You could take add item simple. Want to add one of our tutorial hat, and as ID here it's my item, so I'm entering my item. So if we're playing now, pressing U, see here the tutorial hat was added. Okay, the texture is a bit bit weird. So I might change that to this. And let's try that. That's better. So we have here our head. We're taking it, equipping it to the hand. And it's very big, and we will adjust it later. If we're dropping that on the floor, it's also very, very big. So that is actually the drop transform. So as you can see here, the scale for that is way too big. So let's go here. We're decreasing here the scale, for example, let's say 0.1, so 10 times smaller. Let's try to drop that on floor. It's maybe almost too small, but it's okay for testing now. Also pick it up. So in the hand, you see it's still big. So here for the equip in hand, we could also take then here instead of the static mesh, the skeleton mesh or the actor. But I'm also going here with static mesh. Then we have here equip in hand bone. That is here hand, the right hand bone of the character. Could also take another bone for that. Maybe I'm doing that now. So what you need to do now is going to your character. Then here I'm going to static mesh hand. If you don't have here the this static mesh here, or if you didn't add that here, you can just create here a new static mesh, make it as child of the mesh here, and then you need to make sure to choose as tag here only hand. So, or if you're using a skeleton mesh, you could add here skeleton mesh and choose as tag hand. So for the static mesh here, I'm now choosing the tutorial head. You see, this is way too big. As a parent socket, I would choose, for example, the left hand, where we set the location and also the rotation and scale it down. Then what's really good here to turn off real time, so the character doesn't move anymore, and then we can adjust it better. Also turning this one off here. So now you can adjust it in scale, rotation and location, that it looks good equipped to the hand here. Doesn't look perfect, but enough for now here. And what you need to do now is copying the location. First, we're going here with the hand bone. So I'm copying the hand underscore L, the bone, going now to the table here and pasting that here. So this will be the bone for the hand equipment. Next thing is equip in hand transform. And that's an array, because let's say you have this character and then you might have another character where like the hands are bigger and it should be equipped in a different way to the hand. Then you might want to take a different location and scale here or rotation for the other character. And you can do then, or you can click then here on the inventory character component, and here you have these edit in character variables. For example, the equip in hand transform and bone index. So for this character, we're choosing 0, and then you could add here, it will take here the element 0, and could add here another transform. That would be index 1, and then for the other character, you could choose here 1 to make use of the different transform when equipping into hand. But we are leaving it now on index 0. So for this static mesh here, I think this location looks good. So need to copy the location. So right click here, copy the location, then paste here in equip in hand transform the location, go back to character, same with the rotation and with the scale. Next thing we can leave empty. Maybe we can tick here that it should directly, when we're picking it up, should go in the hotbar when there's space. And the inspector mesh, I'm also taking the static mesh for that. Inspector transform, it's probably also too big, so I'm choosing 0.1 also here for the scale. You can test this. Maybe test it now. Adding the item. Now you can see here it should be gripped correctly in the hand. When inspecting it, looks also good. Maybe a bit small, then you can increase here the scale. Let's check it out again. Looks better. And yeah, I probably need here also some location adjustment to make it look even better when rotating it, but won't do that right now. So that was basically the general data. And next one would be rarity. This is like the first module that you can enable, but you don't have to. So I'm enabling this now. Can choose here. Use color preset, for example. Taking blue. And leaving has rarity turned off. You can also, making use of that is basically a visual thing. So adding this now, see here, we have this blue background here. Okay. Closing this again. So equip armor. That's not for every item, but for our item this is relevant because we want to have it equipable on the character's head. So I'm enabling this model here for this module here for this item. As equip slot, I'm choosing helmet. As equip mesh, I'm choosing here the tutorial hat. You need to choose it here again. Can leave that like it is. Then here, the equip relative transform equipped is the next thing we need to adjust. That's similar to the hand equipment here. So let's go here, taking here the helmet mesh. Again, if you don't have that, need to add here new static mesh. We're searching here for the tag. This is helmet, and this basically matches with the equip category. So we have some equip slots, helmet, top, bottom, shoes and so, or backpack. And this is actually needs to be spelled exactly same. Because when you're looking here in equip armor, I forgot here, equip slot, we chose, I didn't forget it, but we chose here helmet. So we're choosing here helmet. It will search in the character because we chose here the static mesh. It will search here in the children of this mesh, of this main character mesh. This will search for the static mesh that has the tag helmet. And then it will choose that to apply the mesh and the transform and everything. So it's the helmet. Choosing here the tutorial hat. Again, way too big. Scaling that down. Need to compile that to update here. And yeah, that looks maybe so. Let's take this. Then again, copy the location, paste it here, copy the rotation, paste it, and copy the scale, paste it. And as you can see, this is again an array, so if you have different character, can make use of a different array element here. Here, in case we're choosing here in skeleton mesh, then we can also say that it should adapt the characters animation. That's, for example, used for the leggings or for the top part, chest plate part, and so doesn't matter for here because then we have only static mesh here. Attached to bone, we also need to change that now. We chose here for the helmet head. So taking here head. Could also have, for example, different helmets. One is attached to the head and maybe the other one is attached to the neck or so. So choosing here head. Yeah, what I also wanted to say, doesn't matter. This doesn't matter here, this mesh. So we can change it in here or move it in here. Once we're playing, it will automatically override the mesh, move it to the position of the data table, taking this, applying the parent bone and everything. So then we could also add here durability, just enable that. Weapon data, not enabling for now here for this item. Here we could also consume the item. This is not a backpack, so all stuff we leave disabled. Could make it dismantleable in the anvil. Also won't do that. For the vendor, yes, it is. We can sell it in the vendor. And choose here some prices and stuff, and it shouldn't be cookable or so. So let's test it again. Pressing U. If we're hovering now, you see, because we enabled the equip module for the body module, see, we're able to equip it now to the head. We also have some durability. Can press Z to decrease it. And yeah, that was basically the tutorial for setting up a new item. If you have any questions left to adding new items or any questions to different module settings here, I didn't consider it here in this tutorial, then please let me know. And thanks for watching.